Yo guys, what is going on? It is Mr. DJM here, back again for you guys, another top 10 video. So today we are going to be ranking the top 10 best formations on FIFA 19 Ultimate Team. So there's a few key elements that make a good formation on Ultimate Team. So the first key element is of course how it plays in game. If you can't win matches using the formation, then it's not a good formation, is it? And the other key element that makes a good formation is how easy is it to make good squads and good hybrids using that formation. So bearing those two key factors in mind, we are going to jump straight into this. So coming in the number 10 spot, we've got the formation 4-2-4. Now for someone like me who can't really defend on the game, this formation is not great. However, it doesn't mean it's not got its strengths. Now, I think this formation is perfect for a scenario just like this. You're losing the game maybe by 1 or 2 goals in FUT Champions. There's not too long left to go and you just want to chuck everything at it. And I would recommend changing straight to the 4-2-4 because it's got 4 forwards. I mean, what more do you want really? It's got great attacking options, but defensively it's not that sound. And I would not really recommend starting your matches playing the 4-2-4. Unless you're trying to really take the game to the opposition and then maybe change into a more defensive formation later on, that could be a viable option. But I think considering it is so defensively vulnerable, I can't put it any higher up on the list than the number 10 spot. So guys, coming in the number 9 spot, we've got one of my personal favourite formations, the 4-5-1. Now I'm going to be totally straight up with you guys, this formation is absolutely useless in game, would not recommend using it whatsoever. However, it is the best formation on the game in my opinion at creating great squad builders and great hybrids. If you guys watch a lot of my squad builder videos, you'll hear me say this a lot. So the formation's in a 4-5-1 formation, however I do change the formation in game. I think that sums up what I'm trying to say here, that this formation is so flexible. You could say it's more flexible than an Olympic gymnast at creating great squads and great hybrids because it's got so many different varieties of options that you can go with. So in terms of creating squad builders and hybrids, I definitely recommend using it. But in terms of using it in game, I would not recommend using it because it's pretty terrible in my opinion. So we are moving on to the number 8 spot now, and I've gone with the 4-1-2-1-2 wide. Now, I've came up against this formation quite a lot while I've been playing on FUT Champs and stuff like that. But for me, this is not a formation that I play particularly well with, but I do think it is a good formation. I think going forwards, you'll be able to score a lot of goals because, of course, you've got a left midfielder, a right midfielder, a cam, and 2 strikers. But I think to make this formation work, you need to have a world-class defensive midfielder because he is going to be there by himself, isolated. He's going to have to do a lot of the defensive work because your cam's not going to get back too much. Your left mid and right mid aren't going to do too much defensive work. So in my opinion, you can get overexposed in the middle of the midfield, which is where its biggest weakness is. But I do think in terms of going forwards, this formation is definitely a good option. But for those reasons, I couldn't really put it any higher up than the number 8 spot. So guys, coming in the number 7 spot, we've got the 4-2-3-1 with the 3 cams. Now, I'm a big fan of this formation. I think it's a really enjoyable formation to use. It's very fluid in its attack. You could say it's more fluid than the Pacific Ocean when you really get it going and get the players free roaming and interchanging. It really does work well. In terms of making it into squad builders and hybrids and whatnot, I think it's not too difficult, but it's definitely not one of the easiest formations to create great squads. And of course, there's no left midfielders or right midfielders, so you can't get a lot of the best players on the game in this formation. You know, the likes of Mbappe, Neymar's, Bale's. They can't get into this team just because of the fact that they are wingers. So I think that is a slight downside. But I do think this formation is very solid defensively and very fluid in its attack. So I think it deserves its number 7 spot on this list. So guys, coming in the number 6 spot, we've got the classic 4-4-2 solid formation. And it just does what it says on the tin really. You've got 4 at the back, 4 midfielders, 2 strikers. It's a very solid option and it's a very safe option in my opinion. I think you know what you're going to get with the 4-4-2. I think going forwards it's okay and defensively it's okay. I wouldn't say it's anything amazing in the attacking sense or in the defensive sense, but I think it does a solid job. And I think for people that are just starting off on the game, I'd probably recommend going with a 4-4-2 because, as I say, I do think it does a very solid job in game. So we are moving on to the number 5 spot now, and we've got the 4-3-3 original formation. Now, I think this formation is pretty good in terms of its in-game ability. But my biggest issue with this formation in game is the fact you've got 3 central midfielders. Now, I do like a 3-man midfield, but I don't think you need all those guys in the centre of the pitch. I don't think they offer you anything special really. I think one of these players could be either moved further forwards or further back, and of course there are other formations that are in the 4-3-3 variation that do that, but in my opinion this formation is very good at creating great hybrids and great squad builders. Very easy to link players up in this formation, so I think it definitely deserves its number 5 spot on this list. So guys, coming in the number 4 spot, we've got the 4-3-3 attack. So, as I've just mentioned from the last formation, I feel you need to have either one of these players further forwards or further back, and I prefer to go slightly more attacking by having a cam in the team. I mean, going forwards, in my opinion, this formation is one of the best formations on the game. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Of course, having a left winger, a right winger, a striker, and a cam. And defensively, I think it is pretty solid. Of course, you've got the 2 central midfielders that will do the dirty work in terms of winning the ball back and whatnot. So I think going forwards, it's very good, and defensively, it's very good. And I think it's pretty easy to create great squads. Of course, you can have like the left winger, the left central midfielder, and the left back linking together, and then do the same on the right hand side. So you can get a bit of a hybrid going. So for those reasons, I think it deserves its number 4 spot on the list. So we are moving on to the number 3 spot now, and we've got the 4-1-2-1-2 with the central midfielders. Now, I come up against a lot of people on Foot Champions that use this formation. Now, for me personally, I'm a guy who likes using pacey wingers out in the wide areas, so it's not really a formation that suits my playstyle, but nonetheless, I can see the strengths in it, because defensively, I think this formation is very solid. Of course, having a CDM and 2 central midfielders. And then going forwards, it can be very deadly using the cam and the 2 strikers going through the centre of the pitch. This team is very good. I do think it has got a few weaknesses though. In the wide areas, you can definitely be vulnerable because you've only got a left back and a right back, and if you come up against an opposition that's using a right winger and, for example, the right back gets forwards, it's a 2-on-1 scenario. So I do think this formation has weaknesses in game, and I would say it is pretty difficult to create great hybrids and squad builders with this team. And again, a similar case to the 4-2-3-1 with the cams, you can't get wingers into this team, which is a bit of a downside in my opinion. But nonetheless, I do think this formation is very good and very usable in game. So we are moving on to the number 2 spot now, guys, and we've got one of my personal favourite formations, the 4-2-3-1 wide. Now this formation, in my opinion, is the best defensive formation on the game, and as I mentioned before, I'm absolutely terrible at defending on FIFA 19, so this formation definitely helps me out, and in my opinion it's more solid than a brick wall with Jose Mourinho's bus parked in front of it. There's no way you're breaking down that solid 4 at the back with the 2 defensive midfielders. You've got a cam, you've got a left and a right mid as well. For me, if you're struggling to defend on this game, definitely give this formation a try. I don't think there's any issues scoring goals with it either. I think the cam is very important in this formation. You need to have a player that's got a bit of magic about him in that cam role, because the team really does revolve around him. Now, in my opinion, I think this formation is fairly easy to link into hybrids and squad builders. I wouldn't say it's one of the easiest, it's definitely not one of the hardest, but for its in-game ability, it gets the number 2 spot. So guys, coming in the number 1 spot, there was no doubt about it, it had to be the 4-3-2-1 formation. In my opinion, this formation's been the best formation for a number of years on Ultimate Team. I mean, what more could you really ask for? You've got the solid 4 at the back, you've got 3 midfielders, and then you've got 3 forwards. It's just the perfect combination. I think this formation has the right balance to it in terms of its attacking ability and its defensive ability. Now, in terms of creating squads with this team, I think this is probably the second easiest squad to get into hybrids and whatnot, because of course the striker only needs a left forward or a right forward, and then you can build off that, and it really does work well. You can get good triangles going on with the left back, the central midfielder and the centre back. There's loads of combinations that you can go with. So in my opinion, the 4-3-2-1 formation is the best formation on FIFA 19 Ultimate Team. So guys, what I want you to do is let me know what is your favourite formation in the comments below. I'll be very interested to see what you guys put. Make sure you guys drop a like on this video if you have enjoyed it. If you are new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. But that is just going to be about it from me for today, guys. So I'll catch you in the next video.